believe 2019 marks the 25th anniversary of the 1994 New York Rangers Stanley Cup championship team. And the organization has done a great job celebrating and honoring the team. That was back on February 8th with a reunion and ceremony. But joining me today on Sports Extra, we're going to reminisce and recall a time before 1994. Mark Rosenman, who last month released his fourth book, Before 1994, the story of the 1978-79 New York Rangers. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks so much, Tina. And it's interesting because 78-79 is about the time I started watching Sports Extra. So to be here,
there you go.
And I'm sure that Bill is looking down and smiling because you've done an unbelievable job with this great franchise.
Thank you so much.
Great to be here.
And that's what I wanted to kind of hone in on. I mean, this was a team that lost the Stanley Cup, heartbreaking in the finals there, but it seems like it's such a special team.
Yeah.
What did you see in them that made this team so special? And here's the book.
Well, I grew up on Long Island, so, the first time the Rangers played the Islanders in the playoffs was 75, and they lost to them. And growing up on Long Island, being a Ranger fan was a little tough. This 78 team overachieved and then beat the Islanders, and there were so many great stories on that team, so many great characters. I've co-written the first 4 books with Howie Carpenter, who sits next to me at the Ranger press box, and we kicked this idea around a couple of times, and until we had the couple of books under our belt, people said, it's too, one-season centric, and we said we don't care.
How did this team, the 78-79 team, impact you in your life?
It made me a Ranger fan. It solidified me as a Ranger fan. And we start off with the 77-78 playoffs. The greatest Ranger game I had ever been to was the second game of the preliminary round the year before. And it was such an odd game. You had Phil Esposito getting into a fight with Rick Martin at the end of the third period in a tie game. Both of them not known for fighting, both superstars, both in the penalty box when overtime started. Rangers score early in overtime at the Garden. People go crazy. Goals waved off. Sabres come back, score, the goals wait off, and then Don Murdoch scores. That's the only game they won. But finding out, because I went to that game, and doing the research, I found out that there was a baby born at Madison Square Garden during the intermission of the third period overtime. I tracked down the parents. Their son is actually an NHL agent who had Sergei Zubov and Brian Leach as his clients on the 94 team. It was just...
That is incredible.
It was a very cool story.
I never knew that story. That's unbelievable. Mark, and you mentioned Phil Esposito. You have him, guys like Dave Maloney, who I had earlier this season on the show. Ron Duguay is always at Fox 5. I've worked with both of them at MSG Networks. Of course, John Davidson. I mean, despite not winning the Cup, they're still such beloved players in New York history.
This 78-79 team was never expected to win a Cup. They beat the Canadiens in Game 1. They were up 2-0 in Game 2 against a team that had 10 future Hall of Famers. They so overachieved that, and they gave everything. And that's why I think people love them. And then you have the characters. You had, Nick Fattiu on that team. Then you have the Swedes that came over, and Ulf and Anders. And then Fred Shero, the mystery man himself, which I found out a lot more about him doing the research for the book and speaking. We spoke to every single person on that team, with the exception of Pierre Plante. I couldn't find him, and ironically, yesterday I got an email from him.
Oh, you're kidding!
He goes, "Are you looking for me?" I go, "Oh, yeah."
The book's out. Yeah. You can always you can re-release it and do a new chapter.
We'll do a revised edition.
You mentioned the Islanders out of the gate. It was tough rooting for the Rangers living on Long Island. Let's go back to February 25th, 1979, the Pop and Sox games. We can say it here. It's after 10:30 at night. So now the 40th anniversary just passed. So in your book, I mean, how much does that moment play into a turning point that eventually impacts the Rangers, so to say, in that Stanley Cup final?
It's the title of our chapter. We recap each month, and we recap that game. We spoke to Ulf, we spoke to Denny, and, Ulf said, now, all said and done, he says a clean check, but it's what, you latched onto. Islander fans latched onto 1940, we latched onto Pop and Sucks. But Denny did say that it was tough. In the early years, the hatred, the pure hatred that he, met with coming into the Garden. He said, it's not fun standing on the blue line having batteries whiz past your ears. So people were throwing stuff at him. But now he jokes about it. He says, oh, they chant Pop and Sucks. He goes, I thought they were chanting Pop and Cups. So he's gotten to the point where he understands where it comes from.
Real quick, as we wrap up, in interviewing all of these guys, just the way they lost to the Montreal Canadiens, what kind of haunts them the most?
You know what? I was shocked. I thought, knowing if you looked at the two rosters, I would think they would have taken so much pride in getting where they were. All of them, to a man, opportunity lost. They should have won.
Mark, thank you. you so much. Good luck and congratulations with the book. It's Before 94, the story of the 1978-79 New York Rangers, and you cover the current Rangers as well. So we'll have you back on. We'll talk about Lundqvist's future down the road.
To be on Sports Extra anytime.